This conference will now be recorded.
All right, good evening, everyone. Call to order the meeting of the Town Commission on October 5th. Executive Order Number 20-69 issued by the Office of Governor Ron DeSantis and extended by Order Number 20-6. Municipalities may conduct meetings of their governing bodies having a quorum of its members or at any specific size and communication technology, telephonic, as provided by Section 54. Procedure for public comment will be explained by the town clerk shortly. Member of the Town Commission appearing remotely for this Bill Dessler. Clerk Armstrong, 5 minutes.
The agenda, the material for each item on the agenda, and the notice regarding the virtual meeting were made available beginning September 30th, 2020 on the town's website, and is also available in the town clerk's office during business hours. The public is given the opportunity to submit public comments to the town clerk prior to the meeting. The town has developed several new methods in sharing public comment for a virtual meeting. Any person may be heard by the town commission through teleconference and upon registering with the town clerk pursuant to the public notice to speak for not more than 3 minutes on any item on the agenda. This is a virtual meeting as authorized by the governor of the state of Florida. Members of the public wishing to address the body may do so by the town clerk will unmute the public once the mayor calls for public comment. Persons interested in speaking may speak up to voice their public comment. Do not unmute your physical phone until you are ready to comment. Remute your phone once you have completed your comment. Persons who cannot access the meeting by teleconference using their computer with speaking capabilities or through a smart application can call Town Hall at 561-732-2635 and notify the Town Hall staff of their public comment. The Town Hall staff will notify the Town Clerk who shall read the public comment into the record. These public comment options were established at a virtual Town Commission meeting comply with Section 286.0114 and Section 120.64 for the statute. The public that is physically present for the Town Commission meeting may participate in public comment by coming up to the podium. Town of Ocean Ridge has a facial covering requirement, often encourages the public to practice social distance. All chairs within Town Hall have been measured to comply with the 6 feet social distance requirements. No such stations have been placed next to the entrance doors of Town Hall. Tips for virtual meetings. Try to use one device. Do not attend the meeting by using both the computer and telephone at the same time, as you will experience feedback with a strong echo and will not be able to hear the participants of the meeting properly. Mute your phone. If you're attending by telephone or computer, those that do not mute their phones can use your functions into the meeting. Do not unmute yourself. If you are attending by GoToMeeting application or computer, please do not unmute yourself. The town clerk will unmute persons after public comment is called by the mayor. If you have physically muted your phone, please unmute only after public comment is called for. The town clerk has alerted the public to unmute. The information in the chat box is a public record. Call Town Hall if you're experiencing technical difficulties.
Please, if that's fine, that's fine. All right, Clerk Armstrong, please call roll.
Commissioner Bessler,
Here.
Vice Mayor Cobb,
Here.
Mayor DeHasis,
Present.
Commissioner Herbert,
Here.
Commissioner Beasley.
All right, and joining me for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. All right, moving on to additions to modification of the full agenda. Is there any additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda? Entertain a motion for the approved. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I need to approve. Thank you. How about a second? Okay, that is a motion by Commissioner Herbert, a second by Vice Mayor Cobb. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries unanimous. No presentation. Clerk Armstrong will leave
The next regular town commission meeting will be held on November 2nd at 6 p.m. at Town Hall. The next planning and zoning commission meeting will be held on October 19th at 8 a.m. at Town Hall. There will be a joint workshop between the Town Commission and the Planning and Zoning Commission on October 19th at 5 p.m. at Town Hall. A Board of Adjustment meeting will be held on October 21st at 8:30 a.m. at Town Hall. The next Septic and Sewer Citizens Advisory Committee meeting is to be determined. Residents who wish to sign up to receive important town notifications and use Civic Ready should sign up on the town's website or call Town Hall for assistance. Town Hall will be closed on Monday, October 12th in observance of Columbus Day. Next on the agenda is public comment. The mayor will invite the public to speak to the commission on any item that is not printed on the agenda. Public comment on a specific agenda item may be made later in the meeting when the item is taken up. Public comments on there is a one-time per item, 3-minute individual limit for public comment that will be timed by the town clerk. Public comment is not meant to be a question and answer period, and there will be no dialogue. Anyone wishing to speak during public comment will approach the podium and state their name and address for the record, and the town clerk after speaking to fill out a speaker card in order for the minutes to be properly recorded. The commission would like to remind everyone that individuals addressing the commission shall use proper language, and that the language which includes profanity or cursing or which is presented in an aggressive or threatening manner towards the town commission, staff, or other members of the public is prohibited. All comments shall be directed to the presiding officer of the meeting and not to individual commissioners, staff, or members of the public. Those addressing the commission shall avoid personal attacks against anyone, and the presiding officer has the authority to remove individuals from the town commission chambers if such conduct persists after the presiding officer has provided a warning that an individual is in violation of the policy.
Okay, I now open the floor to public comment.
Stella Cole, 204 Beachway Drive. I want to say I'm glad to see everyone here happy and healthy, and I'm happy to be back. I wanted to make the commission and the town aware of a problem that I had in August. So I do get nervous. I decided to write it down. I had an emergency in August. I had no electricity in my rental home. Unbeknownst to me, it was taken down because of a storm by SPNL. When I got here in August, the house was hot, obviously. The air conditioning wasn't working because I had no heater. Contacted them, contacted the town. Through the town, I was told I need a permit. SPNL said they would come out after I got the permit, talk to the people of the town hall. I was told I needed definitely a licensed electrician. Again, no problem. Went and did all that. After reaching out to the town, it took me almost a week to get a permit to put this electricity back on. After talking many times to the town, to the town manager and the town folk, I was told, because of COVID, everything's like kind of an excuse because of COVID sometimes. But this was a true emergency. After it was replaced, the new building inspector who comes to see it notified me that on an emergency, whether it's water, electric, gas, roof leak, anyone in this state can just go ahead and do it and then go back and get the paperwork done. I then contacted the state to find out, is that so? I did believe you. I mean, not that I didn't, but I just wanted to find out. And I found out it's actually against the law in Florida to not have electric at somebody's home. So FP&L was in violation. Yes, it is. I'm not supposed to speak to anyone, so I'm not. It's against the law for no electricity to be done. Even if you don't pay your bill, FP&L can put a lien on you, but they can't shut your electric down. This is what I was told from the state. Anyway, I just wanted the town to know that I think that the town should know that this ordinance is. I mean, they've been doing these permits for 20 years. How do you not know this? I had a lot of anxiety. I was afraid of obviously, mold and stuff like that. And I just felt that the town should assist people and not work against us. And just for that reason, I wanted you guys to know what was going on, and perhaps we could do better for any of our citizens. Thank you.
Very much. Other public comments?
Somebody else is definitely moving the little button from the microphone, maybe that sometimes.
Okay, is this better, Mary Kate? That's not. Is there any public comment from those attending virtually?
The public participating virtually have been unmuted.
Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and, first, with approval for the consent agenda. Town Clerk Armstrong, would you present?
Adopt minutes of the regular town commission meeting of September 8th, 2020. Adopt minutes of the special town commission meeting of September 21st, 2020. Approve expenditure of $4,305 to Jones Foster for legal services for August 2020. Approve expenditure of $4,351.40 to Robert Reynolds III and Tubios LLC for legal services for August 2020. Approve expenditure of up to $42,000 to Bartow Ford for the budgeted purchase of an F-250 utility truck for the public works department. Authorize the mayor and town clerk to execute and record delinquent garbage and trash liens for FY20. Authorize town manager Stevens to sign FEMA grant documents on behalf of the town for Hurricane Isaias.
Before I entertain a motion, I have one small correction. The September 8th, page 6, paragraph down, last sentence, about vice mayor cost stated. Mayor cost. That was the only correction. I'll work with it. Is there any other corrections, additions, or discussion? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion on approving the consent. Motion by Vice Mayor Cos, a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried unanimously. Fantastic. We'll move on to regular agenda items. Agenda item number 2, second reading of ordinance number 2020-06. Clerk Armstrong, please. Ordinance number 2020-6 by title only.
Ordinance number 2020-06, an ordinance of the Town of Western Florida, amending its code of ordinances by amending Chapter 1, General Provisions, Section 1-3, Definitions, Chapter 64, Zoning, Article 3, Supplemental Regulations, Section 64-41, Accessory Uses, Building and Structures generally, providing for more specific regulations regarding sheds and dune crossovers, providing for codification, repeal of completing ordinances, severability, and incentives.
Town Attorney Chet, please advise us on this item. The change versus.
Yes, I can. The changes, this ordinance deals with, it has a definition for dune crossovers, and it also adds regulations regarding, or modifies regulations regarding sheds, and then adds regulations regarding dune crossovers. The changes from the last meeting, there was some discussion, or the way that the ordinance on first reading had previously worded the size of a deck for a dune crossover. We differentiated between single family and multi-family. Based on the discussion, direction from the commission at that meeting, we removed the size requirements, or we made them all one size, which is 144 square feet for the deck size, which is same size or the maximum size that is used by DEP as well. The other change that was made, as it relates to dealing with sheds, there was a section that was added referring or in reference to an administrative special exception that could be granted by the town building official as it relates to lots that are under 2,000 square feet in size. They can establish a hardship in their ability to meet the setbacks above, depending on the size of the shed, could be the 3 to 5 feet, or it could be you can't encroach in the setback requirement, but depending on if they meet those certain requirements, then the building official may grant the administrative special exception that may allow the encroachment up to the property line. So those were the major changes that were made from first reading to second reading.
Before I open it for discussion, I'd like to open it up to public.
And Mr. Christopher Curry, 27 Tropical Drive. The first reading took place, I had unfortunately surgery and was really not in a position to be able to pay much attention to what was going on. When you really become aware of the situation. As I read this, it appears that my property qualifies for this exemption or whatever it is. My property is 1,000 square feet. However, that only, as I understand it, relates to setbacks. There are a number of issues in this ordinance that I problems with and irreconcilable problems. Number one is that only one utility shed shall be allowed per lot. When I purchased my property 50 years ago, I had sheds, one on the west building in order to house a water heater, that building, another on the north building for all kinds of equipment and whatnot that was necessary. And at that point in time, it actually also housed a water heater. When I improved my property 35, 36 years ago, that particular water heater north building was a different location. But basically, both of these heads, first of all, there's more than one. Secondly, are at the setback requirement. It appears to me that the 10,000 foot exemption is going to apply to it. But what I'm saying is I am seeing a number of things in this ordinance that relate to sheds that have been on my property for almost half a century. We were there when I purchased the place half a century ago, and I do not see how what way there is around them. I'm not quite sure that I understand what it is that we're reinventing the wheel relating to a property that I have owned for almost half a century. All I can say is I think addressed before the ordinance is adopted as it is written. If in fact the 10,000 foot exemption applies, not a problem, then it obviously is a problem. That's not the way I read it. The way I read it, the 10,000 foot exemption only applies to setbacks. So setbacks involved in problems. Thank you.
Very much. For addressing that, I just like to do any further. I have a meeting of public participation virtually. If you have a public comment, stop. None. It is my understanding, I'm going to ask the attorney to, is my understanding this ordinance is as go around and not seeing this ordinance to come out to individual home and look to our income.
No, I mean, the ordinance applies to all sheds that are currently out there. No, it's not grant, I mean, the only grandfathering that could be done, because bear in mind, the current ordinance doesn't allow for what Mr. Curry is talking about now. I just want to make that clear. We're trying to relax the standards with it, and I get that that may be something that people are going like, well, you know, my shed's been there forever. I get that. Now, if there is some evidence that someone can show us that 20 years ago, whenever that the town shed ordinance allowed sheds to be constructed on the property line, and that they were, you know, that their shed was in there and it's been there ever since then, and that place not expanding to nonconformity, it would probably be a legally nonconforming issue that we could deal with at that point in time. And I mean, that would be a lot of background information that most people probably would not have.
Correct. So could you explain what current ordinance is 5 years saying?
Well, I mean, the current ordinance does not allow a shed to be in a setback period. And so what we've attempted to try to do is, based on the size of the shed, is to allow the shed to encroach within 3 feet or 5 feet. Correct. Yes, sir. To encroach into a side setback, provided certain things are met, where it's not drainage on there, you know, you aren't draining onto someone else's property and things of that nature. So that's where, and then as far as, and then otherwise, sheds that are smaller, I think we say in here the 25 square feet, if I'm not mistaken, we don't really address those, but I mean, but the shed has to be a prefabricated shed as well. So if the shed is greater than 100 square feet, you know, you would have to get a variance to go into a setback. And then if on this stuff here, if a shed is under 100 square feet, you would still, but you want to put it on the property line, you would still have to get a variance.
So from an administrative point of view, an administrative special exception would apply only to the setback, or when it's
the way that it is worded here, it is only applying to the setback. That's it. Nothing else. Not the number of sheds or any of the other requirements.
I would say, though, the point of this ordinance is not to be retroactive. Because of a lot of flooding from people's property lines, and their roof line goes into their yards, there's flooding, there's other issues. Our attempt to fit all with a little bit of warning.
I don't know why we opened this from the beginning, but now that we have.
Yep.
So Brian, I'm kind of surprised you didn't have the language.
On the hardship issue.
Yeah, 3. They had a very simple fix, but right now, onus goes on the building official to make a decision on the setback. So I had a very simple fix that I think will help out Mr. Curry as well. What you see, it says an administrative special exception is created by the town building official for lots that are under 10,000 square feet in size that establish a hardship declared by the property owner. So the problem was that Ronnie's going to go on into a lot and say, well, you can move the shed over there. Ronnie doesn't know that that's where the kids play back is. So the idea was, which is in keeping with the that if the homeowner says, I have a hardship, he keeps it. The fact that we're not going to go around town and find these sheds, residents will, I hope not, but possibly call town. So that's fine, very simple fix, but I think it's very important. Right now, the Ronnie has to declare
Right,
a hardship. No,
after they come to him, after discussion.
no. So let's say the neighbor
Right.
says, hey, I should have a tech cycle. But the Ronnie noticed and said, well, he's back checking on school. So, the way this is written right now, he has to decide that shed has to be there because there's no place else in the yard to put it. Versus the homeowner simply saying, I declare a hardship. Now, the Ronnie is done, town's covered, because the citizen has declared a hardship. Ronnie just says bye to the citizen.
But he's still the one that needs to approve. That needs to approve it if there's a hardship or not.
No. The home, just by declaring a hardship.
All bets are off.
Correct. That doesn't solve his problem, it solves all the problems that are with this ordinance.
Comfort says only. It is
We have to follow the letter of the ordinance, or he's gonna tell the shed. That's the problem. Retro, no grandfather, no nothing. When was the first shed ordinance, what year? I mean, I bet you Chris is probably,
It could, I don't know.
more comfortable if other is along with doing a consultation with the
It's the
town
homeowner.
manager.
homeowner, why are we going credit?
The
Tell
homeowner
the
wants to
people
keep
with
the
less
shed.
than 10,000 square, right?
The homeowner wants to keep the shed wherever the shed is
Right.
placed because they don't want to move it.
That's correct.
So the homeowner's gonna say, well, hardship.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
So then the ordinance has no teeth whatsoever.
So,
Because all the homeowner needs to do is
it's
say,
an
you know
ordinance
what,
for homes over 10,000. What we're trying to do, not penalize people with less than 10,000. That was what we set out to. We're still penalizing because the building official, and we caught him in a very uncomfortable circumstance of seeing that the shed could be over there instead of in the setback. And he will tell them.
and then he, that was the homeowner and they come to an agreement as to where they're gonna put
Together.
With the new wording, the homeowner just says, hey, Durrani,
it.
I got a hardship.
Basically, translates to get off my back. I wanna do whatever I wanna.
Hardship.
You're putting the homeowner who is already going to say it's a hardship.
Right,
And
that's
if you've been
correct.
listening to those complaints and drove this ordinance to its fruition here all these times, that's because it might be, homeowner says, it's a hardship, I like it where it is, but the neighbor who is encroaching on it saying,
They've already,
It's gotta be
they're
something
not
else.
grading on the neighbor's property. And have a shed that's higher than 7 feet.
I think they had some other options. I'm thinking, I mean, think that this should be. Hollywood.
So my conversation with
Together,
Ronnie
both.
was not in, was what you all wish. Ronnie was going to go by the letter of the law.
But between Ronnie and homeowner, that's where we're looking at flexibility of this. Trying to figure out what's going to be looked at. Oh, I don't think he's doing anything. Sorry,
I'll
Ronnie.
tell you where my thought is going. I mean, let's go back to the intent of the ordinance. The intent of the ordinance was that neighboring property owner has an issue with the neighbor's shed. You have to have some sort of representation in the ordinance that deals with this particular subject. That was the intent of it. So, as far as enforcement for this ordinance, if we want to add that into it here somewhere, that only if a homeowner complains about another homeowner about a neighbor's shed that directly impacts fuel, drainage, height, whatever it is, unless the direct neighbor complains about it, you know, the courier can keep his shed, if the neighbor has complained about it.
Right, but that's not what this ordinance says.
Right.
What mine saying is what, and I agree with what you said, that works for us.
My only thing is that if we leave it up to the homeowner to say, well, you know what, I have a hardship, I want to keep it here. It's like,
Well, maybe from.
you're going into variances, it's basically the same thing, it's like a mini variance. Where you're going into, I want to build another 2-story into a setback, and I have a hardship because I can't build it anywhere else. So I need to build it there.
That's
So it not be the.
So take my wording and now put in something about the neighbor. Unless there's a direct neighbor, let that word go.
Yeah, it has to be somebody that's directly affected by that.
I'll give you a for instance. One of the houses across from, put a shed right in the corner. They put metal stuff. Scattered in full of.
Welcome to Ocean Ridge.
Yeah, welcome to Ocean Ridge, and they never saw it because it was on the side of their lawn, and unless they went to get in the shed, they never saw it, but frequently. So we have to be careful, I think. What is the, within the 300 feet that we have, I think we're starting to go down a road. And I'd rather deal, but I deal with it on a.
Then you should question the building official, so what shed?
Here, that we're getting is a couple of other things.
Would it be possible to, from a city perspective, would it be possible to have put this ordinance in construction building official as to how this also.
You mean how you determine hardship?
Yes, we're gonna give him direction, so we might as well put it.
I mean, if you want to put guidelines in there to kind of fetter his discretion on a hardship, you can do it, but,
I think that actually works against, yeah, I think that works against it.
It could be more flexible like this as written.
But, you know, I mean, Ronnie understands what we want to do, and so today will give our those wishes and let these things go. The problem is, hopefully not for another 10 years, but down the road, we might have a different building official, and he looks at the book, he goes like, well, it's not a hardship. And he does not hear the conversation that's happening right here, right now, as why this is.
So that commission then has the opportunity to, hopefully you make them that they do have lasting power, but you, nor with any ordinance, honestly, the flexibility of one person, I think it's, that was.
Right, which is what we're trying to solve here, but once again, writing an ordinance, then asking officials. Second point, I'm gonna ask on, and I have no hostility to try and get on. If you walk into a less than 10,000 square foot lot, ain't that there shed in the setback, what are you going to?
okay, so, I have, pictures here that you guys started with maybe. Okay, so these are a couple of pictures of what I understand the ordinance. First point is that the sheds that we're dealing with are prefabricated under 100. So the ones that we're looking at right there, those are the typical types of sheds fall in that category. Okay? So the first two right there are the types that are just kind of cabinets up against those. Those are great. The only thing I would ask a homeowner that instance is some kind of cover. Use kind of where they are, they're perfect, they're accurate, are designed out. The second graphic going to the right is actually a shed that has been by Qualcomm. This is looking from the neighboring lot. This shed is actually exactly 510 against the property. One to the right, I apologize, it's actually turned sideways, but it can. That is what it looks like from the street. There's a hedge, it's right up against there. You can barely see the front. That would be my understanding of it. Okay. So the third graphic, the one that we can look for all the way left, again, sideways. And this is walking close to that. That's how it is. It's a 10 by 10 shed. It's up against the house, shed sideways, right? And it's under 7 feet. I barely, almost 7, but where it is, it's perfect, right? And again, I took out a couple others, the other two that are there that are showing, again, the same thing, smaller sheds that would fall into that. And the truth is, if we deal with bigger sheds, then they will need to conform to the normal setbacks, and we have a few applications right now.
For bigger sheds.
Right, for bigger sheds for 144 square foot that we're doing. And actually, this one is that I'm thinking of, is actually in that same area where somebody decided to a shed in the style of the house. And the idea in the end, it was actually like an extension. And it fits. So I'll avail myself, is what I'm saying, to assist and give recommendations possible. And again, we will not be which one. I won't be.
But back to my original question. So you walk into a less than 10,000 square foot lot,
Right.
standard setback.
First of all, this has to be a complaint. I will not be going there doing an inspection. But this is me trying to, be a mediator between. There's one person who wants it and one person who doesn't want it. What I'm looking for from this ordinance is guidance from the council to make these rules and be equitable to both neighbors. So this neighbor will also have to abide by these their time comes. And this is what the rules are, and as best as possible, try to start.
So a side question, Brian. The picture of the two sheds, not be allowed further over.
Could be. Because one shed is less than the 5 by 5 square.
So the 5 by 5 doesn't have.
Does not come.
So one could be construed as a deck box.
Right. So once it's decided not to.
What I have a concern with the first one, like there's actually garage door, that would. That's why we put it there. Something similar at my house.
Again, I think one of the most actually was you and heard at the past meeting question where do you cook as a mix? It's not us going out the dirty roof or something like that.
What happens when Connie knows that somebody built there?
And you gotta look at the pool.
Unless it's a life safety issue, I'm not looking at it. The pool fence is broken,
So you're gonna ignore the ordinance?
no, I'm not, I'm not going after things that don't concern. When you're just for something specific. If there's a life safety issue, there's a power line laid in the backyard, yes, but otherwise, I would be, I'd have too many inspections.
Correct. And I liken it to as you are reviewing.
Totally community service, but we're writing ordinances that conflicts with what you're saying. Turning to the town, saying, do what I say, not what I prove. That's what.
I don't want something down in the administrative hardship, that's what would work
Since a lot of this discussion came up because it's very. Got a considerable amount of comments, questions on that he will use. Effectively. Well, one of the things I would like to point out here, seems to me that whatever these problems are, all of my problems relate to, I don't even know whether what I'm talking about qualifies as a shed. Because both of them are actually attached to the building and have been for half a century. Okay? So, to me, a shed is a freestanding item, okay? And what you don't want is you don't want a freestanding shed in the middle of my front lawn. That I am totally with you. I have no objections. All right? However, I am sitting here looking at an ordinance that has specific things in it. Only one utility storage building shall be allowed per lot. Okay? In my particular case, the one shed that I will building, whatever you want to call it, accessory use thing that I have, houses the water heater for that building. Okay?
And is it bigger than 25 square?
Bigger than 25 square feet, it could conceivably be. I mean, it's possible that it's not, and that's just fine. Okay, if it's less than 25 square feet, then it's not a problem. Okay, but that's not what this says. Okay, this doesn't say only one utility shed shall be allowed per lot in excess of 25 square feet. It doesn't say that. What it says is only one utility storage building shall be allowed per lot. Okay, my lot has 2 utility sheds, neither of which can be, talk about a hardship, okay? I don't think Mr. Guy or I would be able to come up with a suggestion of where to move it to. Both of these things, first of all, are attached to the building, okay? And cannot feasibly be moved.
They might have been approved right from the get-go. They might have been approved when the house was built. Might have been done out of the structure that was built when the house was.
Well, all I can tell you is, okay, that they were not precluded, okay? Yes. From what I understand, there's a problem with grandfathering things in, okay? You're looking at ultimate grandfathering situation, okay? I bought, not only, have I owned the building and lived in it for almost half a century, okay? I bought it with those sheds, okay? I even have surveys showing the shed in location.
Right there, that to me tells me that is part of the building. A shed would not, like these things here, these rubber-made things.
Okay, if a shed is a freestanding building or a freestanding structure, okay, then I don't have a problem with it. Okay.
I think the whole thing does not seem.
Okay.
I haven't done read the fine print here, but what does the ordinance say? Does the ordinance say that it's a freestanding structure?
If a neighbor has not complained about it for all those years, I doubt you're going to get a neighbor complaint.
I mean, you're probably right. It's probably is going to take care of the problem. For example, I was not aware of the 25-foot issue.
Again,
It's primarily for
thank you for the comment.
encroachment.
Actually, I'm going to close discussion. Nope, had enough discussion on it. So I would like to, is there a motion for adoption of ordinance -0? Second. All those in favor, there is a motion by Commissioner Herbert, second by Commissioner Fisherlock. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1. Moving on to the second reading, item agenda number 3.
Oh, excuse me, Christine?
Yes.
We only talked about the sheds. I thought we split them to sheds and dunes, because I'd like to talk about the crossover dunes.
Did not split the ordinance, unfortunately. Can I have some guidance as to whether we can go back, allow the motion to go ahead and discuss the.
I mean, if you want, you can do that, yes, that's your prerogative.
Okay, sure. Commissioner Gessler, go for it.
Okay, I mean, I wasn't going to change my vote. I just wanted to get on the record for this. I think this ordinance is a good first step to deal with the dunes and the crossovers. But in Palm Beach County, the county pocket, you cannot have a structure on a property without having a house on it or unity of title if they're separate parcels. Boynton Beach has the same regulation. Now, this takes care of most of it, but there are a few parcels that are still going to be separated. And I don't think this ordinance goes far enough to create unity of title for parcels that are by themselves and contain structures. They need to be joined. We can allow the distance issue maybe to be in the I shouldn't say the word grandfathering, but I'm going to use the word grandfathering to get the idea, because these few parcels that aren't going to be touched, meaning they're going to be separate titles and have a structure on it, which I think is against Palm Beach County regulations, but I don't know if the town can supersede that or not. But what I'm suggesting is that we have Brian look into, is there a way to get these properties joined together with a unity of title? Even though maybe the people now live farther away, but because we'll call it grandfathering, their grandfather, they can do it, but they have to attach it to a property with a house on it. They can't just leave these as standalone properties.
Mr. Gessler, this is Tracy speaking. I just wanted to let you know that based on your comments that you made at the last meeting, staff has put an item on your joint meeting agenda with the Planning and Zoning Commission to address your comments.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for giving me a chance, Christine, to talk about it too. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I'm sorry I didn't move into. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 3, second reading of ordinance number 2020-07. Clerk Armstrong, please. Ordinance number 2020-07 by title only in record.
Ordinance number 2020-07, an ordinance of the Town of Ocean Ridge, Florida, amending its code of ordinances by amending Chapter 67, Building and Building Regulations, Article 3, Technical Codes and Other Construction Standards, Division 1, generally Section 67-32 for elevations, provide for the use of the latest FEMA map elevations, providing for clarification, repeal of conflicting ordinances, severability, and an effective date.
Okay, Attorney Shutt, will you please advise us on?
This ordinance provides that regarding flood elevations or required base flood elevations for first floor elevation, that the town would use the best available data moniker as provided by FEMA. Now, just to clarify that a little bit, it's my understanding, and I guess Mr. Guy or the town engineer, Lisa Pepe, can also chime in on this. The town had received a memo or a letter from FEMA back, I think it's around the beginning of the year, basically saying, you need to use the best available data maps for your base flood elevations, or your first floor or your base floor elevation. In speaking with the building official, and he can certainly correct me if I'm wrong, but it's my understanding that once we got that, they're really bound to follow those requirements. So all this does right here is basically remove a wording conflict in our ordinance to make it compatible with what FEMA already requires us to do. I don't know if I explained that correctly or if there's anything. Okay.
So basically, it's housekeeping based on new.
That's my understanding, because it's my understanding that town is requiring everyone to comply with this anyway. But whether you change it or not, no offense, I think the building official is bound to say, I'm sorry, you have to follow these elevations.
And if I may add, rationale is when we a building and it's a proposal, so there's going to be for 18 years for that building. So it would be good sense we have this knowledge that this high requirement will be in place during the application process. That by the end of construction, when the building is built, is conforming, and we don't have a building that we've approved and going through the process, and we're still 2 months later is no.
So I just had a weird question. The site plan is approved, it's at proper elevation. They don't start building for image. Then have to read site plan.
So the process is usually about the process of reviewing the flood elevation more than. So the last time this was changed, right, was 1997. So that's 23. Not a period short.
Okay, I'd like to now open the floor to public comment.
The public participating virtually have been unmuted. If you have a public comment, please speak up.
Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for adoption of ordinance number 2020-07 on second reading.
Go through very quickly. I have one question as a clarification. So FEMA has the station level set at a certain point for different streets now, for different neighborhoods and different heights of it. Those are the new ones that are coming up. Isn't it in our ordinance that we are 1 foot above that? So we are actually FEMA plus 1. And that stays that way.
Commissioner Bessler.
No, I agree. We should use best available data set forth by FEMA. So I'm on board with this.
Yeah.
Right. Entertain a motion on adoption of ordinance number 20-07 on second reading. Motion by Vice Mayor Cobb, a second by Commissioner Serbrook. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. On to agenda item number 4, second reading of ordinance number 2020-08. Clerk Armstrong, please. 2020-08 by title into the record.
Ordinance number 2020-08, an ordinance of the Town of Ocean Ridge, Florida, amending its code of ordinances by amending Chapter 18, Emergency Management, to clarify, modify, and remove outdated provisions regarding how the town deals with emergency situations, providing for clarification, repeal of conflicting ordinances, severability, and effective date.
Okay, Attorney Schutt, would you please advise us on this item?
This ordinance is basically removing some outdated provisions in your emergency management procedures in implementing new ones that it's my understanding, and I'm sure Tracy or the chief can correct me, that actually go along with the actual process of what they do and how they handle emergencies.
Okay, public comment is now open.
The public participating virtually have been unmuted. If you have a public comment, please unmute your phone so you can speak up.
Hearing none, I'll now close public comment. Vice Mayor Cobb.
Did it all at the last week.
Commissioner Spassler.
I'm fine with it, with the changes.
Herbert. Right. Motion by Commissioner Eschlak, second by Vice Mayor Cobb. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I was waiting to. Commissioner Bessler, what was your vote?
Aye, I agreed.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. Okay, agenda item number 5, building permit extension request for 673 North Ocean Boulevard. Building official, Mr. Guy, please advise us on.
So, 6273 North Ocean Boulevard has going on for 5 years. Things have happened over time. They're actually at a stage of construction building. They put their, I can't afford having that station. However, since then we have been in contact with Tractor and I'm happy to say that some work has been done, and we are getting regular reports. There is movement until the building is completed. Satisfied. A mailbox. House. Neighbors are having difficulty based on construction. In contact with the neighbor to the south, has the problem with wall. Progress has started. Getting wall in. Things are moving, but still not at the pace I would like to. We're waiting on reports because of the length of time that the building has been idle. I would like to see an engineering report possible. That we have that online that probably can give updates directly, commission directly.
That will help.
That better? So, Daniel on the call or represent
Unmuted the public. Daniel, if you are on the call, can you please speak up?
This is in regards to item number 5, permit extension request. Is there anybody virtually wanting to?
Yes, John Scheibels. Can you hear me?
That is, one moment, we're still trying to see if we can speak to the property owner before we open it up for public comment. Please just wait one minute.
Okay, thank you.
Lane.
This is a continuation from last. There's some more information and attention.
How about the one that just popped on? Right, yeah. So if you would like to unmute yourself, waiting for 1,000,009.
Property number 6273.
Okay, unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're gonna have those comments, so I'd like to go ahead and open it up for public comment. Mr. Shiloh, would you like?
Yes, John Scheibels.
To know
Can you hear me?
6273 North Ocean. Please continue, Mr. Scheibel.
Okay, yes. My concerns were, along with my neighbor Greg on the other side, were listed in a letter that was sent to council last month. Some of those concerns still are existing. Specifically, getting up to speed to get this house built if they're going to do it. It's been over 5 years. I'm very concerned about fire and safety issues if there was a fire at that place. Has anybody looked at the building conditions for fire suppression? And basically what I'm looking at is the front of the building had windows at one time that were blocked off and then a pyramid installed. Can a fire department get in there and be able to handle a fire in case of an issue? Second has to do with the septic system. I think since he's had a permit, he's had septic permit for probably the 5 years since he's been in construction, or 7. I think it needs to be reviewed and soil borings done to see if the soils can handle the size of the building that he has. Where he's going to have his grinder pump for the septic system is on the northwest corner, which is probably 200 square feet, and then a leaching field out from there. I think somebody needs to look at it because it's an issue. And then the third item is the state of Florida. Have they ever visited the site? Have they ever examined the construction east of the CCL line? And have they examined the soils that were required to be filled in with that permit? Those are my 3 items. I appreciate your time and efforts in dealing with this matter. It's a little frustrating on our end, but I don't want to have an adversarial neighbor. I want to have a complete project, or I want to have a new project. That's basically what's at. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Scheibel, for your input at last. Any other public comment?
Before if the permit is out, on a building, it can be 5, 6 years. Does the town get money for them to reapply? Because I know in New Jersey, there's a statute, okay, if you're not done in 4 or 5 years, then you have to reapply for permits, right? As long as they're taking so long, you might as well make some money off them.
Well, the town has a provision, which is what we're exercising right now, for the contractor and owner to send themselves according to.
Okay, but you do have like a timeline.
Yes, and with the timeline, it's actually a timeline that continues for 180 days after an inspection. So once an inspection is filed, they get another. And right now they're actually in compliance with that ordinance. And that requires them to ask council for an extension. It's possible.
So to expand upon that, Stella, we are putting an item on the joint workshop on the 19th, talk to the voting committee about timeframes for construction, trying to give sort of a deadline, like a 2-year period or something like that, and possibly doing penalties if building is not completed within that timeframe.
Any further public comment before we open it up to? Hearing none,
Yeah, there must be miscommunication from our, remember our last meeting, Rick flying in down from
Daniel.
David? He couldn't get across the board.
We met with him.
And he knew to come to this, or he was told to come to this.
There must have been something.
But he has really communicated with us and those in the department. There are various documentation and to answer one of the neighbor's questions. He does have an active and he wants to ask him. And it did expire and he has they are moved things. Yeah, it's unusual and he's not here.
Yeah.
This particular item is specific that the homeowner or if the representative of the owner extension or president.
we have two choices. Go ahead and on the vote or postpone to date.
I go postpone, which I also.
Christine, what are our two choices?
Our choices are to finish our discussion, which I'd like to do regardless, and take a vote and or postpone to date certain. One of my questions I had for you, was looking at the construction timeline. Latest that I saw in terms of starting May 1st, and that is not necessarily, that only seems 8 months away from now. However, the special exception that they are looking for, is it 15 months, is that correct?
Let me address that really quickly. So, I talked to Representative Daniel. I told him, I said, listen, it looks like you're going to be finished with the project, and I don't think that's realistic. I agreed with me and said, okay, well, I'm going to meet with all of the subs and come up with a better timeline based on what the subs think. And then he's going to come back to staff with the timeline that's more realistic, and we can do and let you know what it is. But I think right now, just want a consensus from the at this point. I think for staff to work with contractor, get this.
I believe we have consensus on that, but given their track record, I don't want that to be deadline. I think around the surface.
I think because I would have to have that update. Yeah, I think they're gonna have an updated timeline probably by the next time to have met with all of his subs by then.
Okay, I don't like the word probably. We were supposed to have a timeline at the last meeting, and he said, "Oh well, you know, I'll get it to you."
And then the timeline that he put to me, I wasn't. Correct.
Timeline that is here.
It's not realistic.
Missing so many things. There's from drywall to paint primer with the stucco. So stucco is something on that particular structure that's gonna take
Doesn't have a
very well.
different package in here, there's
Electric in there, something.
Right. So what I would like to suggest is we want to date certain, but with the condition that an updated and a representative be. I don't want to drag it out anymore. Quite frankly. Yes, we want to move along and we need him here to tell us that it is absolutely wrong and to use the proper timeline, not this one. Right, right, this is going to stop it from, we'll try to stop this. And he's working away. Oh, and he will, because, right, I think he heard us last time.
Yeah, the idea behind this is that we make the homeowner representative aware that, very frustrated about the situation. That he who wants, let him come here. Easier for that need.
For the realistic. Yeah,
Yeah.
that has been vetted by staff. Right, I was gonna say, has met with staff and. Okay, I'll entertain a motion. Postpone date certain next things with the condition that the timeline be set at minimum a week ahead of staff and. Motion by Commissioner Herbert, second by Commissioner. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to agenda item number 7, agreement with Madison Bar for repairs and emergency.
Number
Yeah, that's a good one, yeah. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and do item number 6. Discussion regarding 2009 North Ocean Boulevard. Houston statement. Attorney, that would be.
Okay, in my memo, I kind of laid out several options that the town has, and I think in our meetings with all of you all, we had, or town staff was looking at, possibly trying to perform some nuisance abatement, action on the property, especially the landscaping. However, I think, I don't know who provided this, so I don't know who can talk, if that's Tracy or whatever. I see Mr. Brito in the office, in the audience as well, who can talk about this latest item that we have. So that might be an update that the town or that the town manager was waiting for. So I don't know if she wants to comment on that.
Yeah, I would like to have, I think Mr. Frank is on the phone and property. Also have. Frank, I invite you to unmute yourself, please, and item.
Good evening.
Evening.
Mr. Frank, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, good.
Would you like to speak to us in regards to the item in front of the commission, which is a nuisance statement?
I spoke with Chief Hutchins and the town manager and explained that we had hired a demolition contractor, Frederico, and they felt that if we proceeded with the demolition, that these other items would be taken care of in the course of the demolition. It's my understanding that the representative for the contractor was in the office Monday morning, And Mr. Brito can probably comment better than I on that. But the contractor has been hired, a check has been issued, a contract has been signed. So once the shutoffs are provided, and I think we only have 2 left, gas, which there is no gas on the property, and also phone. And he feels he can get those taken care of in the next 5 to 10 days. But I think any detailed questions, Ron would be more than happy to answer.
Okay, thank you. I have one question for drainage. It's my understanding that a building that was not applied for yet.
But this one,
That's correct. A building had not been applied for a demolition permit. It even hasn't been applied for yet. What we're waiting for is clearance. Before we can apply for demolition permit, we have to have clearance first from all the utility companies and everything, that everything is clear before we can get the permit. So that's being done right now. We've got a couple more, like gas and the phone. We've already sent notices out. We're waiting for the response from them that's saying that it's clear and the property is clear and it's accessible. Once we get those, we'll go ahead and submit the permit and go ahead and get started.
Then can he apply for the permit and then submit items as they come in?
Yes, we can actually expedite permit.
I tried that before and they said no. They said no, you have to have all of your utility stuff in first, so.
But I believe this one is before the council.
Is there gas on the property? There's no gas on the property. No. So I think what I'd like to do, come in tomorrow and actually apply for the permit. As you give permission. Get those to us.
Well, so I had a question for you. Your contract is over a year old. That's still valid. And that's accurate. So you need a new contract.
No, I mean, if they say it's still valid, that it's still good, then that's up to them to say, okay,
So it's not, something missing, it's not even signed by Frederick. If it's shattered.
We needed a completed, signed, completely executed. The other thing that I did not see is I did not see a work contract.
Well, we gotta wait for the permit. Can't get a completion date until we get the permit. But I told him that if he could get an estimate approximately when he could start, he says if the permit gets approved within the next week or two, but second week in November start.
Have to go in and get a brush. Right now, in the right of way, there is overgrown.
Yeah, right next to the street.
So
It's
On
coming
both
down.
sides, right, on both sides.
Yeah, the whole thing's coming down.
A1 and over.
that is one.
Well, the house is coming down, the trees, the shrubs, everything's coming out.
That was coming down. The thing is that right now, until the end of November, that's the goal to be down and the president with property that we overgrown, compliant as far as our site ordinance.
I'd like to open it to public comment.
You're talking about the backyard, right?
The backyard and the do.
Backyard's been mowed, we've been having that mowed every week.
Again, I'd like to close this until we have public. Okay, is there anything that you would like to?
Basically, we'd like to go have permits submitted tomorrow,
And the forecasted, start date will be the 2nd of November.
With a completion of how long?
Probably a week.
I'd like to open it to public comment.
Good evening, Commission. Mark Marsh, acting as the chair of the Planning and Zoning Board. The question I have for staff, it's all very well to get this house knocked down and cleared. What is a post-demolition strategy? Because just as bad to leave a bare unmanaged lot, which is just going to grow up again. We have an ordinance, I think, sodding and irrigating. So can we make sure that that is
Yes, that's one of the things I'm concerned about. We've had some issues about that, and that will actually be a condition of this and every demolition permit. That is,
project is taking so long. So now we can hold them accountable. That's all my concern.
Thank you.
Just be hearing from me. But I just wanted to say that, since I've gotten back, and especially from this property, and I've walked around the area and checked that, there are rodents. So I think we might have a problem in town, and I think he should cut the grass down before he does all of this, taking this house apart. I just need you to be aware there is an issue with rodents.
Thank you. Other public comment? And I'd like to go ahead and
First, we can't use the word rat.
begin.
So, I think the town officials ought to, sort the houses on either side, because if you get a house knocked down across from us, and so just be aware that. And number two, the ordinance for sodding demo lot actually is covered by some kind of program. Sod and irrigate, so you can get some more.
Commissioner Bessler.
Well, I'm glad I'm hearing it's going to be demolished. I just hope, it moves quickly. Because it's been a nuisance for a long time with those blue tarps and all. Looks pretty bad.
My only question is basically you can go forward demo, if the only thing left to do is phone, correct? No gas. That's already done. That's phone. Phone, telephone.
Oh.
Right? Isn't that what I heard? The telephone, and that's
Letters from the,
Right.
company stating that there's no phone there and there's gas. All we need is letters.
there's no gas. The phone is something that's all going to. And how are we going to?
I think it's good. That
That's my question.
An end of contract, which is federally done. Wrong.
Because it's been ongoing for so long, and then Marsh's concept there of when it eventually does come down is having this. And what comes next? Seeding, to use the seeding, how that works, starting in irrigation. Starting irrigation. Yeah, no, that's the one I'm looking at. I watched that come up. But question being is, I think, asking for what comes next. I've got a little bit of a different take on it. Here's this, it's kind of at our wit's end. I mean, I have heard talk. I would like to, if we were going to, I would like to see that we go ahead and abatement for landscape only, for the roof, if there is not a sufficient 45 days or 30 days of permit.
So meaning you're giving them 45 days to do a demo, and if the demo has not occurred within 45 days, then the town is forward with abatement. We'll go in, we'll take care of the landscaping, do all that, and then attach that to their tax bill.
And then I would go even one step further just to make sure that they understand, here we are, if that is not, if we have within those next 30 days of doing that landscaping, nothing is going forward, then I would
What happens if they do not stay on the house plan, but move down in the pond?
Then on the fines, if we try to go, I guess, foreclosure or something, we would be, our code enforcement fines are at the very end, would be behind a mortgage or some other, possible lien that some other agencies may have on there. I'm not aware of any of those.
and we can still collect those properties.
Not code enforcement, we can't. The nuisance abatement, we can. Nuisance abatement, we can.
That's what I'm asking.
Yes, I'm sorry.
If
We can't go
in
into
the space, they knock down the property and demo it and take care of it,
Yes,
and then somebody buys it, we can still get our 17.
we do. We get our nuisance abatement legal.
So that's
back.
kind of
Yes.
Yes. Include that.
We don't. In your contract here, you have a specific line item that deals with the landscaping and your concern is $1,250 extra for the last contract. Please vegetation property line, other vegetation not included above. So it was an extra $1,250 for 50 yards per load. So meaning that you're going to remove basically everything off that property. That is my correct. And
Yes.
Are there any large trees?
Oh, yeah.
one of them you need to check with the building official of those trees are historic trees. The ones that, let's just say the ones that everything else that you can. Help me out here. The current situation and current state that this property is. I'm sure when you go over there and you look at it, you're not happy. You wouldn't be happy having this as your property either. So, is there a way? There's a sign now, and apparently there's a deposit on it too. Is there a way that we can, that you can get a contract? Okay. So, is there a way that you can get in there and actually do the clearing of this vegetation immediately?
Anything can be done. It'd be being done twice. You've already contacted him to do it. Why would I go in there ahead and do it ahead of him? It started the second week in November.
2 years or so, we've been looking at a property there, an eyesore.
I've been waiting for 5 years, but it's got the contract come to fruition.
You've got to understand why we here have a little bit of hesitation on the contract that you presented yesterday. That was done in 2019, some 14 months ago, right? And,
how long have we been working on it?
And now all of a sudden we're ending up here 14 months. It could have been taken care of 13 months ago.
It could have.
and it's not. So,
the circumstances around, it's not because he doesn't want to do it, he wants to do it. That they had his money that's been held for the last 7 years. He sold a company in Europe, he tried to bring the money back, and the Homeland Security put a hold on, and they've been holding his money for 7 years. And he's finally pardon? Jose Escobar. So that's the agreement between Jose and the owners. They're partners in the thing, and Jose's got the right to buy the property. And the owner's telling him he's holding it to him, he knows he's good for his work for him for 20, 30 years. And made little amounts of money with him, so he trusts him. Yeah, it's not. I'm just trying to explain that he's not doing this out of his own decision.
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you. So, Mr. Burrito, one of the requirements for demolition is actually to have a pesticide treatment. Yes.
That's going to be done.
Yes, we do that right away.
Can this be scheduled to be done this week?
That's something I think that can be done, and everyone.
We're moving forward, but this going on is nothing but moving forward.
So the things that can be done.
Oh, yeah, and it will be done.
That's,
Pesticide kill rats and everything?
There is a treatment, there's a requirement that the society.
Yeah, there's a requirement that we get a pesticide clearance. Like the gas and phone, pesticides, one of them to get a clearance from them also.
Gotcha. So I only have one last thing, Christine. Is Ken Frank still on the phone? I would like him, very substantial and successful businessman, confirm to us, as a commission and personal, everything we're being told here by Ron Burrito will in fact take place.
100%.
Thank you.
Okay, let me ask this, talking about going forward with abatement part of the vegetation part of it. So how can we wrap this into looking at no demolition issue? So what can we do or immediately make an actual abatement? I think that's what.
I will let my yard guy there mow the yard tomorrow. Next day or two, out of the front yard, mow the backyard.
And the trash all cleaned up, yeah.
There's no trash in there.
Well, there's the piles of dead wood there from the old vegetation side on it.
The way that I would go forward, I know you wanted to go a little bit harder on it, I would go even harder on it. It would move forward with the basement that we see with the 72 hours. Somebody has a need clear the right of way area. It's in compliance with the right of way area. Let's put it this way. This is really could be the main concern for the residents. And they're not driving by and they have to all grass.
I don't know if that's 100% realistic. I would feel more.
Whatever the number is.
And then the second trigger, and I'd like to put that timeline. First one, second trigger be that again, abatement is going forward. If after that first trigger you actually comply with it, but the next trigger is if it's 5 days it's not demolished and flooded, all that throughout, it will automatically. The abatement is going to be there, and then it's up to the contractor and the.
So just so we're all clear, 5 days up the right of way, and 45.
And pesticide.
Yes.
When you say that right away, what do you?
The right of way on that particular property is from the basement of the street Talking about, North Ocean.
North Ocean,
North
Old North Ocean.
Both.
It's also one by one.
Okay, one by
On North Ocean, on A1A, from the street, the pavement of the street, all the way to the wall. Where the wall and the gates are.
I'm not sure I want to limit it to the right of way. They can mow the darn thing, get it all mowed. Yeah, like the proposals that we.
Technicality, yeah. Concerned for the next 5 days, I would be concerned with. I think it's a sustainable thing.
But if you got someone for the mower, why can't the gates and on the cross, right?
It would be a nice gesture if that would be for them.
I will take care of the property between the wall and the street. I went up there last time, I had, six out tree strippers coming, we gathered up all the stuff and all the way, 2 truckloads.
Yeah, it is a good job.
And we did, stuff there, and if Andy's going, didn't put their fence in, I don't know. I'll go by there tomorrow and check it.
I go by there every day. I can assure you that they have nothing, nobody has them.
What is there? Got it clear, come on.
Well,
Grass growing?
Yeah, grass growing at 2 foot tall.
Right, the weeds and the hedges are no longer hedges.
And the hedges are completely overgrown. We're living in a tropical climate. You have to clean your yard. You're living in a house, in a family house. Probably have a lawn person that comes once a week. Someone twice a week. With them. House better.
Exactly the point, right? Exactly the point, right. So how do we work that out? So, well, okay. I think as take the first step. The first step being option.
That's part of
But the mission statement option be approved only triggered by 2 different aspects happening. First 5 days, property is not cleared, mowed. That's what happens. That happens, then there's an additional 40 days to ensure that demolition is not on that 45th day already approved, so it does not need to be for this. I had correct. Right.
I'm not sure how yet that is the second part of December. For the demo takes a week.
Week of 10 days, and I'm over stuff like that. The tell back a little bit. Between the second and third week of December.
I would give them actually 60 days to complete. I would tie it to a completed demolition permit, both out demolition. So there's no doubt that he has to be there with the guy living with sign off on it. Give them 60 days for that, because if they are really planning on going in the middle of November, they would
Much time once we get started, things are going to move fast.
Badger time. Forward. Are you comfortable with this? Right, that includes, is that going to include our 5 days cleaning it up, head to side, and then 60 days of demo, site cleaning or saw? So it would be an additional 55 days for us.
I have a question. So when we're talking about the nuisance abatement, or would that, if they have not demoed, talking about just the lot clearing, or you talking about the lot clearing?
I would do personally, I would do the lot clearing because my next step is foreclosure. To repair a roof and spend that amount of money on a roof.
We're talking about nuisance abatement or lot clear.
Right, would anybody like to take back at the Toyota and maybe?
That's why Brian gets stuck.
So your motion is, I'm assuming that within 5 days or within 5 business days of the date of this meeting, that the property shall be mowed and pesticides shall be applied. Now, when we use the word cleared also, so I guess I just been trying to clarify, you say mowed, that mowing the grass is fine. Now, when we talk about clearing vegetation, I think there's a lot of overgrown trees and stuff. Are we talking about the mowing of the grass and getting that taken care of? Okay, so doing that, so then that would be the first step. That would be done within 5 business days of the date of this meeting. Within 60 days of the date of this meeting, then the demolition would have to be complete, and all of the conditions and as far as related to the demolition would have to be complete, as well as would have to be seeded or sodded with irrigation if required, be in compliance with our code. So that's the rule.
Right, so yeah, what did you say the pesticide as well?
Yes, that's the very first within 5 days, and I think you had indicated that that's going to be done tomorrow. Is that correct, Mr. Frida? Okay, thank you.
So
No, well, no, I'm saying seeding or sodding and if irrigation is required. I believe that's the way our code already.
Clearing up the whole lot, I don't know if any irrigation.
Might have to install irrigation.
Right, that's where that comes in.
Yeah, they might have to do irrigation in order to maintain the grass, the whatever vegetation.
If you're gonna clear that.
well, to that point, then we have a specific timeline. Directly to market, whether a site is within the whatever the.
Doesn't care, as long as it's private property.
Well, I'm just talking around irrigation, to concede something that's irrigated.
No, you don't need, it's seed, but instead of seed, then it doesn't like that, you have to.
That's far off track, so,
So I made a motion.
I have a question.
Sure.
I have another question. Okay. Talked about foreclosure. So if it's not demoed in this phase, or the new that is foreclosed, and have to send that after the.
I would wait for this thing and then.
but
I would encourage the homeowner.
We are moving forward, I mean, foreclosure shouldn't be in, right? Give us a chance to get started here, get things rolling. I've been waiting to finally get this ball rolling. Finally start getting a roll, and then we start talking about foreclosure. I mean,
we've been waiting.
Let's get started first. And then we'll go, if we start blocking or not moving forward or not making some progress, then I can say, yeah.
Okay, sir, you've got 60 days. Do I hear a second on the motion? Okay, that is a motion by Vice Commissioner Cobb, a second by Commissioner Hurlbert. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I have a technical question. It would be fine that, that's on property, general. Is it possible for us to ask when we have things like this, that either fine 80 before we just
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Frank.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 7. Agreement with Madison Bar for repairs and emergency water district, wastewater collection, and stormwater. Commissioner, Town Manager Stevens, will you please advise us on?
I am going to actually refer this one to the town engineer and, right now. Evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioner. There's two parts to this, correct? Yes. There are two contractors that right now there are two contractors that assist the city of Boynton Beach with different types of maintenance and infrastructure improvement projects on an as-needed basis. One is Madison Bar and the other one is Line Tech. So Line Tech, the town has been for decades and has done a fabulous job. We have an issue with two water valves that are not operating properly that need to be corrected. We, as the town staff, and in accordance with the procurement process, wanted to be able to ask Madison Bar to come in and give us a quote to address those two inoperable valves, not just Line Tech, have a backup also. So it's just this line item is actually a win-win, and it really helps in two ways. One is it gives us the ability to not only use Line Tech when we need to, but to call Madison Bar. They're there for emergency purposes 24/7. Where Line Tech is. And where Line Tech is not. So that's the one win. And then the second one is when we met with both of those contractors individually and proposed and showed them the issues, had them independently create their own proposal to address these two valves that are inoperable. In order to do that, both of them came back and said we want 3 valves. This is also to hopefully eliminate any boil water notice and not put any of our residents in type of boil water order. So they're going to do this project without any interruptions to our residents, to the best of their ability. It's not that easy to understand what's underneath the ground. In addition to the fact that that water main may be close to 70 years. So with those two bids, knowing that both contractors have the capability and skill sets to tackle the job, staff is requesting that Madison Bar, with the lower bid of $50,887.75, be awarded the contract to address those potable water issues. Okay, thank you. Before we move to committee, I'd like to now open the comment. The public participating virtually has been, if you have a public comment, please unmute yourself and speak up.
Waiting for 1 million. Okay, hearing no public comment, I will open it up.
Can I ask some questions, Christine?
We're starting with Vice Mayor Collins, and then we'll move to you next.
Okay, sorry.
You said Line Tech has been doing an excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Boynton also with communication with Boynton Beach Utilities, which we do at least once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. They highly recommend Line Tech and Madison Bar. That's why they've approved both of those contractors.
And are we able to repeat that contract? Or is there, that's what we're utilizing? Okay, Commissioner Vessler?
Yes, Lisa, I have a couple questions. The one is, are the proposals using comparable products? Because if you look at the difference, the 7,500 or 7,700 difference between the proposals, and you look at the valves they're putting in, there's 3 valves, and Madsen has 2 valves at $6,950 and then 1 valve at $9,075. So based on those prices, those 3 valves aren't the same. If you look at Line Tech, they're putting in 3 valves at $9,500. So this difference is basically most of the reason why Line Tech is higher. Now, are they using the same valves, and Madsen, since it's a bigger company, is getting a better price on them? Or is Line Tech using a better quality valve and therefore it'll last a lot longer than the ones that Madsen is putting in? So there's a couple questions there. So.
Right. Well, first of all, if we move forward with this project, contractor is going to have to submit both to the city, Boynton Beach Utilities, and Town of Ocean Ridge, what we call a shop drawing, which would call out the specifications of the valve. We would have to check and make sure that it meets specifications for their vendor list of products, because we have to follow the specifications of Boynton Beach. And so I don't exactly know why Line Tech simplistically said three valves, and it's 3 valves, and Madsen Bar separated 2 and then 1, except for the fact that the pipe on the east side is made of a different type of pipe, which might cause the price to be different on one line versus the other line, and one contractor just clumped it all together and the other one created more of a precise bid. So, but Commissioner Vessler, we would not approve anything that would not be approved with Boynton Beach Utilities, and we'll be working closely with them, because they are the ones that supply our water and our water quality. So we would not approve something that they would not approve.
Well, I'm not worried about that. I'm more worried that maybe Line Tech put a lot better valve in. Will that be checked out as compared to Madsen's? Because there's minimum standards and then there's the Cadillac. And if, it may be better to put a Cadillac under there if it's going to last 30 years, where the other valve is going to last 10. That's kind of my point on comparing these 2 proposals.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case. It's not like you're going into a shoe store and you've got 100 shoes to choose from. These are specific insertion valves, which are complex and not something that's ordered all the time. And so I would suspect that Boynton Beach Utilities would be very specific in the type of valve that they would want themselves have installed.
What's the warranty?
Well, there would be a manufacturer's warranty, and that would be based on what Boynton would accept. Because the Town of Ocean Ridge does not have in its code specifications for potable water distribution systems, work with Boynton specifications. And so
their system and our system has to meet their specifications.
And I think the fact that we're piggybacking on whichever one we that contract. Apples are apples, one's available 27 and decision. Enough to know the difference. You're not gonna buy the Cadillac in period. Okay. My only question was around by Madison Bar versus Line Tech differences. Same question is still, we don't know.
Right. We as engineers ask the question on how do we go about correcting the problem. The contractor that creates the means methods for the most part. So they were both instructed individually on how to address the situation, and they came up with a different methodology as to.
That was my only question, was the separation of two different types of valves versus the lump together. All right, thank you. Commissioner Bichette.
On the valve issue, specification, how does the contractor come up with this is what we're.
Well, what the good news is, again, like these contractors have been vetted with this Point B facility. So when we propose to them that we to fix or replace two inoperable water valves, actually both of them came up with the solution is to bring 3 valves. I can explain it technically why, but it makes a lot of sense what they're proposing. They both propose the same thing. They wrote them up differently.
But yes, Martin, let me answer your question. Good point. You have to piggybacking off of their contract. This is how fix the specifications present right here.
I point to their work specifications as to how and and then the only two items that I have, and also based on lessons are very good about breaking this up. Pre-post, during and post digital photos for $400. Twitter or 400. Rejected. Bothers me. What is the water main that they removed? What does that mean? Is that a gas? Plastic?
There's the old water main on the east side. We believe is an AC pipe. The pipe going across the street is probably a ductile iron pipe or pipe. Different types of pipe. They have to address it differently. Well, when you deal with asbestos cement, you have to go through a certain protocol.
Okay, discussion. All right. All learning. Before you leave though, have said that as a what is the opportunity and I all that basement valves then pressure that this is an unbudgeted, correct? So I mean again, nobody has I think all aware of it. We've been diddling around down there and we're pretty overwhelmed. One fix led to another fix, and I mean, I just want to make sure that that's one of the questions I had. And the second question, with these valves, maintenance of those valves conditioned upon a contract that we had with either one of these, or was it something?
Well, it's town's responsibility for the infrastructure of the.
So we said originally, though, Line Tech had cut these.
Oh, no, I don't know who put them in.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's basically the same, And, the commission has been very proactive moving forward with maintenance and replacement and checking of our potable water system more than has in the past. So, one step forward again in trying to keep the system in place.
I don't see this. I just want for sure that it can start to see immediately.
Right, absolutely.
All right, I'd like to entertain a motion for the expenditure of up to $5,000 for Mark to repair broken water valves at the contract. Second?
Second.
That is a motion by Commissioner Herbert. Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Lisa. Okay. Moving on to agenda item number 8, amending the town policy.
Changes that are in front of you, recommended by the town auditor. Next acquisition will now be more in line with policies of the municipality. Give you a summary. Have any questions?
I'll now open the floor to public comment. Hearing none, I now open the floor to commissioner comment. Vice Mayor Fox?
I'm fine with it.
And Commissioner Bethler?
I'm fine with it. Just anything under 5,000, we should use our judgment on. Our good judgment, so to speak, not just let it go. If it's under $5,000, just kind of approve it.
Absolutely, Bill. And if you ask any of the staff, they will tell you that, I am very tight with the town's money. And I make them do their work. They submit.
All right, great. Thank you.
Commissioner Herbert? I'm good. Here's Mr. Right, I have no. Oh. Now I'll entertain a motion to approve the amendments on purchasing policy.
So moved.
Second. That is a motion by Vice Mayor Fox, a second by Commissioner Colbert. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to agenda item number 9, cancellation of the town holiday event in December due to COVID-19. Town managers.
And this is very unfortunate, and I hate to, but
that include putting the lights up to Toy Drive and having it directed.
so just actual gathering. So we'll put up lights at town hall. Also our still having and then go up and down at some point like a parade.
I love it.
Okay, I'll now open the floor to public comment. Been unmuted, if you would like to unmute your public comment. Hearing none. Commissioner comment.
Makes you will forever be noticed.
Oh, not fair.
Just
boards at a time, so that's all we have to do.
But you would be,
Favor of Tracy.
okay. Commissioner Bessler?
I didn't hear what, Steve said, but, I think we have to cancel it.
He said that you're gonna be named Scrooge.
Okay.
All on you. Commissioner Hobart? I agree. Bad day, but it was.
Actually, what's in our favor? Putting them now in a better year.
Oh, no money. But as long as we don't rent like a stretch limo for seniors to fool around in, with a barrel of champagne, exactly. I grew up in town. Please identify yourself. My name is Kathy Gatewood. I'm in town clerk. I grew up in a town very much like this one. And at Christmas time, my dad was the fire chief. Him and the police chief used to get Santa, and they would take the fire truck or the police cars, and they would take it around. So my suggestion is maybe involve the police. And there was a hit, it's still a hit there. Okay, please out. Yeah. We'll strike that from public record. Okay.
Motion, please do. Make a motion.
Yeah. I do a motion.
A motion to cancel the town annual holiday event in December to be public.
Commissioner Cole, that is a motion by Commissioner Gutschlag. And a second by Commissioner. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Wait a minute. Moving on to staff and number 10, finally, Sarah Marsh will present the.
Sure.
I lost the bet already.
Good evening again. Mark Marsh, Chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Just briefly, we had a nice short meeting. Keyword short. That's good. We had two development plans that we reviewed. One was a re-review, but the interesting thing was the current or the latest edition addressed some of the FEMA requirements and kind of showed us all what's coming down the pike. They were at a +7.5 NABD elevation when they came through about a year and a half ago. They came to us now with a +9 NABD. That's a 1.5 foot increase of what they originally were approved for. What that resulted in was a tremendous amount of retaining walls and perimeter of the property. And Mr. Guy and myself have been talking about this over and over. I think this is going to be the single most discussed item on our workshop because it's going to change the face of this town drastically. And it's not by anybody's fault, but of the human regulations. I would like to ask Tracy, ask Corey, some serious investigation with other municipalities, and how they're treating it. You can only talk about Palm Beach and a thing called pointed measurement. I'll just briefly tell you where that establish a height above the crown of road, and then you add that FEMA to that. So what it does, and I don't mean to lecture you here, is that it's all about massing. Even this application that came to us with 28 Hudson, they didn't change their floor-to-floor heights or any of the mass. They just elevated everything. Massing. That's the overall building impact community. And if you don't have a point of measurement, it's going to mean that everybody can still go to 36 foot high above the new FEMA, and we're just going to get really pretty overwhelming structures.
We don't designate crown of road. putting,
No, because we have finished floor as a point of reference. So your height is finished floor, highest point of the ridge of the roof. But I think something's got to give, because we just can't, not to mention it's going to create, the impact's going to be, we're going to have a walled in town.
People that already have.
Correct. And it's a serious problem. I've done a project in Palm Beach where the neighbors were at 3.5. He had to be at 7.5. So we're already way above them and created like 7-foot walls, high walls around for the neighbors. So it's something that we need to really discuss very seriously. The impacts could be severe. Then the irony is the second one that came to us on the highest level, the highest site in town, I think 10 Harbor Drive South. They're currently at 12 naturally. They added another 1.5 foot to theirs where the above FEMA. So you can see, and it's just the situation is going to get out of hand unless we corral it in the infancy. FEMA regulation is fine. So I think Mr. Guy is well attuned to it, but I think if Corey could do some research to bring both our commission and the town commission point of reference so we can start to see what best suits us. But it's going to have quite a impact.
and I would love to, when you did the visuals of the shed,
And it's good, as Mr. Carter said, it's going to impact some existing properties pretty severely from.
You know the townhouses at the south end of Bryan doing? Is that height? They have a double roof. Is that due to FEMA? Is that due?
They artificially elevated the property.
More so than required.
I would say because they're on the dune. The east end is almost undue. Far with Old Ocean Boulevard. But I think they may have used the Old Ocean Boulevard as a point of reference from there. So it's
FEMA map zone, which was not been permitted.
I think the one on the end of Tropical East End is a good example of what the town's going to look like. That's a 2-story structure technically, but in fact it's a 3-story. So that's the kind of thing we're going to be faced with. So on that good note, I think everything is fine and we're moving along. Moving home. Yeah. 10 Harbor Drive was a good plan. It's a get that answer out of the architect style, but coastal contemporary, transitional contemporary. Be more architect to come up with a definition. And yeah, we're looking forward to the 19th. Get some good input and make sure we invite citizens.
Was my understanding.
FEMA plus 1, a freeboard, that's 12 inches that was mentioned.
And we added the +1 because they're island?
Everybody in the coastal area, most towns do that automatically. Even in the old days, they promote that.
You want to look at that. +1 makes sense. If they're already at 12, the +1.
That was my point to the applicants. They're up there high.
At the very end of the decision, nobody's going to see.
But they showed up that had one.
I think did I cover everything?
If you go to what will be the new requirement, that we went through.
Already worked.
There were 12 feet.
They're
They went
anticipating
13.5 feet. Okay. Thank you. Good night all.
Thank you.
See you on the 19th.
Yeah. All right, town manager. Our report was included in your packages. If you fill in what Chair Marsh said, all of us has to do, Marla, by October 9th. County Attorney.
My report is in the, book there, so I can question.
Got the monthly report for August. I report, and I'd like to, couple comments about some regular community. That's like person we COVID. Notice that I'm wearing a pink ribbon. Honor of breast cancer this month. All of the staff have cited them. In addition, awareness. For law enforcement. We can't do in relation to personal house. We are cleaning our annual Christmas toy drive. Up in letter and larger truck program because of the probably discussion that we say. Also, everybody for donate my drive so that all of those Halloween is October 31st. Available for not me.
I'm partial to dark show.
Generally, at this time of year,
Available at town hall.
right. Generally, this time of year, we start to talk about the spread event and that we are not going to that are too close. But we will hope that everyone 4 hours day a week. Drop off box and how we just across the
I'm presuming
yes. That claim. Don't think the community enforcement relations are on me every day. The thing I here to assist in let me so I have a volunteer. We will probably do your Christmas drive around. We talked about that. At a date and time, try and make sure that folks in town
The only other thing I would have read into our town. Found this. Nursery. Okay. Then item number 14 is the town engineer and public works report. Packages. Question.
That's still up. Not curiously, tremendous. Actually, the rain that collects up on Old Ocean runs down up in my catch basin, corner of Bridge. I went out there and I looked at it, and it's amazing how far that was. But
He submitted preliminary plans to address that issue, putting multiple catch basins on the east side of A1A, running across the street and going in the westward direction. Outfall. He, as the town staff, came back and said for them not only to put catch basins on the east side of A1A, but also at least one on the west side. The ones on the east side do not catch all of the stormwater on the west side, which exacerbates that your community there on the west side. So we submitted the comments to them, and we're waiting for a revised set of plans.
Just gonna help out Sandy Davis. Remember I had a conversation with Casey. I can take a look at the issue.
I don't know how far down the person.
Because it's Thompson and A1A.
I think that's too far. But that doesn't mean we've been communicating with FDOT a lot more than we have in the past. That doesn't mean we can't pursue or ask the question.
It's hard to talk about it at the end of the street, go further south. Like that.
Well, we can mention that too.
So the fact that we have a really major flood event, is it possible, and I think we all intuitively already, is it possible to some type of overhead Google map, bring one of those height of those flood events with a time of our town, so we know exactly where all this stuff is? I drove around as much as I could on the first one. The second one, took pictures, but I mean, it's a real eye opener, sure. Every area of town.
Where it has it, that Chris Curry has to come volunteer.
All right. The town has a geographic information, has a map that now every computer, every staff person that's involved with our infrastructure has that map that's interactive that they can use. Billy actually has it in that shows the location of all the catch basins, structures, and piping of the stormwater system. Staff is probably, I think, going to by letter or website talk about king tides, what they mean, and what residents need to do, specifically during those times where tides are extremely high. So, I guess we're back to the visualization part, and before we hit the date and happen, go back and rewind the tape on that GIS system. Captured that, the town as a whole during the event. I think it's just to tell to, and I didn't know it, and that was hard to get off the island, get over Ocean
on a, even get off your Harbor Island, or their entire area. We're starting to elevate it from being nuisance to I would just, if it's the neat thing to do, I think it just gives us into item number 15, building official size. Please present your, your official work.
Thank you, Mayor. So, please accept my, report as presented.
Right. Commissioner Fox.
Okay.
Commissioner Bessler,
I'm fine with the report.
do you have any further comments outside of the report? We're wrapping up.
No, I'm fine.
Okay, Commissioner Colbert? Good. Commissioner Beschelak? I mean, I can use that gavel. Okay. I'd like to call the meeting adjourned at, what time? 8:28. What do I owe you? I know, I can't.